Guys, the Trumps aren't playing anymore. This administration is the most pro-crypto one we have seen so far. Keep in mind that Trump wants to usher in the golden age, and he plans to achieve so by using cryptocurrencies. Alright, the complete report from David Sachs is now available, and we will discuss it in a moment. The White House is making its in-depth analysis on digital assets public today, granting long overdue regulatory clarification to pioneers in a cutting-edge sector. It's there. Guys, America doesn't want to fall behind. Isn't it time to jump frog? More rules and transparency will gradually be implemented in this sector, and once they are in place, it will be time to further solidify American leadership in digital financial technology. Here is the complete piece from Bitcoin magazine, which we will discuss in a moment. Since this fourth does appear to be slightly bullish, I want to start by bringing it to light. According to Justin Whitehouse, who formally releases reports on digital assets, they will create plans for acquiring more Bitcoin for the reserve. Therefore, forfeited digital assets, that is, digital assets that belong to the government of the Nemble ACP, will be used to capitalize the reserve and stockpile. Alright, now it appears that they will have a reserve for Bitcoin and perhaps other cryptocurrencies, but it's with Bitcoin that has been seized. Okay? Director Hein claims that we recognize the significance of the strategic Bitcoin reserve and that they may now develop other tactics as well, ways to amass more Bitcoin. We do think that accumulation is possible. We can do that in a million different ways. But it's so simple, isn't it? I believe that they will amass Bitcoin. I humbly believe that Bitcoin will reach $1 million before to the collapse, when the Fed starts the money printers up, and that money will be pouring into the cryptocurrency. Alright, so that's simply what I think. People will be thrilled. Take a look at that. Guys, everything simply looks fantastic. That's why I think people are simply overly pessimistic. Do none of you comprehend the actions taken by the White House today in America? Let's explain how we can work together to make this country the global center of cryptocurrency. Correct? Their goal is for America to be the primary hub. At the moment, it's Singapore, Dubai, and other countries. However, America will come next. According to the White House, blockchain and cryptocurrency have the potential to completely transform the American financial system. That's right. And how are they going to do that? Correct? Thanks to XRP, the puzzle pieces are now beginning to fit together, gentlemen. Let's return to the complete report now. Innovation is the story of America, the internet which connected the entire world, to the railroads that connected sea to shining sea. Since our founding, American business people have spearheaded the development of next-generation technologies in each generation. Crypto ought to be no exception. It won't be any different, guys, of course. We front-ran all of this news because of this. That's why you purchased XRP for 20, 30, 40, 50 cents less than $1, because you thought this would happen in the future. Alright, so coming down here, guys, here is the complete report. I mean, this is more than 100 pages long. Alright, however, others have now claimed that XRP is included here. Take a look at this. It is mentioned. Let me zoom in so you can see this. Stages of the uptake of digital assets and cryptocurrencies. The first took place between 2008 and 2010. Cypherpunks. Satoshi transmits the first transaction to Harfini, releases the white paper and distributes the initial software version. Code that was first posted on SourceForge describes the Bitcoin Talk forum's conversation locations. 2011-2013 after that. What is seen here? There is mention of Ripple. Let's have a look there, and a couple of others. There are still major players like Coinbase, Kraken, BitGo, Litecoin, and Bitstamp. Early on in its history, Bitcoin experiences its first bubble. Bitcoin miners, GPUs, and ASICs were the first altcoins to arrive in 2013. This is comparable to the development that they have detailed here, guys, from 2008 to the present. It's amusing that Bitcoin exploded in popularity immediately following the 2008 financial crisis. Have any of you noticed that? Correct? Whoever Satoshi Nakamoto is, he struck it at the ideal moment, which coincided not only with the 2008 collapse of the existing financial system, but also with liquidity. Alright, the way the markets move, which is crazy to consider for 2025 and beyond, and how frameworks and regulatory certainty encourage additional adoption cryptocurrency treasury firms, additional IPOs by cryptocurrency companies. The XRP ledger is aiming for tokenize expands or tokenization extends at full speed. As blockchain scalability improves, competition for sovereign adoption rises. Innovation in adoption. The market for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency treasury companies is growing. Clarity in regulations is revealed. Clarity is precisely what the XRP and the cryptocurrency ecosystem are awaiting. I mean, that's already what they are for Mail's utilities. All set to go. Regulations are not in place, and they are taking their time. But with this report, Congress is working on laws that will help tokenization heat up stablecoin acceptance. Alright, and there are a lot more mails here, but from the sets dollars. let's move forward a bit. The White House crypto document's opening sentence likens crypto to the construction of the internet and railroads. Who began constructing the crypto rails for the internet of value more than 10 years ago? Even if the US government is now accelerating this enormous innovation, I take it that it was XRP, transferring value between space and time. Furthermore, it's a cherry on top of Bitcoin, which XRP accomplishes quickly and effectively, isn't it? It has never been this successful. The XRP ledger has consistently remained accessible online, 24 hours a day, which is why this story, you know what's alright, look for cross-border payments in the present paper. You'll see that cross-border payments, or cross-border, was mentioned more than 30 times. You may also predict which cryptocurrency is leading this field. XRP by far for international payments, when fees are much more, when expenses are much more. That reminds you of what? Indeed, as they have acknowledged, XRP is mentioned indirectly in this document and report, rather than directly. Costs are rather expensive, don't they, when transferring funds internationally? Despite not being mentioned explicitly, cross-border payments have implicitly validated XRP. The only coin that effectively targets that is XRP, which financial institutions employ for enterprise adoption through RippleNet and its on-demand liquidity solution. Cost and speed transactions settle with extremely minimal costs in 3 to 5 seconds. XRP is one of the only cryptocurrencies specifically aimed towards displacing Swiftly systems, despite continuous legal obstacles. Keep in mind that Swift must either comply and work with XRP and Ripple, or it will fail. They literally have to make a decision. Furthermore, Ripple was attacked by the government itself. They attempted to remove it, but they failed, they couldn't. Done the same thing with Amazon and Tesla as well as the SEC. They lived through those periods, and compared to Ripple and XRP, you can see where those businesses are now. While there are undoubtedly significant distinctions, there are also some parallels to those tales. Alright, so the confirmation of XRP is quite optimistic. They are competent in this situation. The value of XRP is now fluctuating instantly. Alright, so this is how XRP operates, with people coming and going like quick transactions. Alright, and unlike some other blockchains, it never sleeps. The White House study has now been made public. They highlighted innovative cross-border payments, but they didn't mention Bitcoin, or digital asset reserves, systems for cross-border payments. Guys, which coin is the only one that targets it? Correct, Bitcoin isn't. In fact, it's quite slow and pricey. Ethereum, same thing, folks. As far as we know, banks are the only entities who have collaborated with Ripple. The Trump administration XRP was ranked 7th on the top 10 list just 6 months ago. Nonetheless, the ACS administration shift has made it possible for XRP to keep rising in value. That's really fascinating. XRP was similar to solidifying back in 2017. Let me demonstrate something for you all. Okay, so this is the full XRP chart, the whole history. Remember, this was in 2017. Observe what transpired. You do realize that XRP was just ranging here, as if they were dead. I'm not doing anything. However, that's when Donald Trump entered the picture. Right, guys? It did this. There was a crazy movement where people made millions of dollars, if not billions. Alright, you know what? The whole time, XRP was dead. Alright, for the duration of Biden's administration. However, when Donald Trump returned to the scene, as he did in 2017, XRP suddenly began to acquire momentum. Correct. However, if we talk a little bit longer, we might even have the same fractal repeating. Right? Since this occurred in a flash, perhaps this time will be a tiny bit different. It will require a little more time. Do you guys see how the block returned to play as soon as Trump did? Isn't it our rising madness? It dropped back to number 3. It was really important for their lawsuit to replace firearms, right? Extremely optimistic men. This administration specifically deals with XRP. Trump stated last week that he